Outside the shop, the bloodied bodies of the zombies were lying on the floor.
Sharon, Rina, Minwoo, Mahui, and Seong were gasping for air from exhaustion. Seeing the zombies' bodies on the ground, she couldn't believe they actually managed to handle that many zombies. Sharon thought, "Whoa, we really pulled it off." Rina spoke, "Well, I guess that takes care of that problem, so. My pop. I mean. Minwoo. Can you explain what's going on?" Minwoo was surprised that Rina knew his name. "Hold on, did I tell you my name?" Rina looked at him and smiled and replied. "So you don't remember? You used your telepathy to whisper it to me." Hearing that, Minwoo was confused. He asked himself, "Wait, I have that kind of ability?" Back with Cherim and the others, they asked Jinwei what would happen if she removed her eye patch. Confidently, Jinwei said, "I get even stronger." Cherim and the others felt dumbfounded and couldn't believe what Jinwei just said. Sonwoo wants to charge at Jinwei out of irritation, because of what she said. "I can't believe you. You made me bet 300 won because you made me curious." Cherim held her back. She told Sonwoo, "Hey. Drop it. Drop it. It's not like this is the first time Weedle said something absurd." Here's some background info. Jinwei became overly sensitive during middle school. She was a kendo prodigy with a natural talent. While Jinwei was fighting in a kendo tournament, she spoke a move name while striking her opponent, Thunderclap and Flash, for Korean independence. Jinwei's opponent said, "Ah, what an embarrassment. I got hit by some geek who says the move out loud." Jinwei retorted, "If you think it's unfair, just get better." Then she laughed. Her kendo teacher told Jinwei, "I already told you, that move is simply called the shoulder." Jinwei's talent made her more emotionally intense. Jinwei lamented, "Ah. When the fight is done, it gets too peaceful. So dull. I feel unmotivated." Jinwei stopped in her tracks. "Wait. If I get too strong, will life always be this dull? Coming to this conclusion, I shall seal up this power of mine." And she decided to put an eye patch on. That's how Jinwei's appearance came to be. The eye patch changes its position every day. Jinwei excitedly said, "So that's how it is. When I take off my eye patch, I just keep getting stronger and stronger." Cherim and Sonwoo ignored what Jinwei was saying. The two were talking to each other. Cherim said to Sonwoo, "Let's just tell her later." Sonwoo replied, "It's too large to move quickly. The strategy that they come up with is." Cherim, who was as light as a gymnast, would go out and lure the giant zombie. Holding a hammer, Cherim shouted to the giant zombie to get its attention, "Hey meathead. Come over here." She succeeded. The giant zombie noticed her and ran toward her. As it got closer, Cherim thought, "It is massive from this angle." Right before the punch hit her, Cherim wondered, "Can I dodge it?" As the giant zombie swung its fist toward her, Cherim jumped. She followed the strategy Sonwoo gave her. Get close, and when it swings at you, jump on top. She successfully pulls it off, and then she swings her hammer to smash one of the giant zombie's arms. Then she jumped and shouted at her team, "Okay. One arm down." Sonwoo advice, don't miss your chance. Jinwei ran to the location of the giant zombie, her hand holding the hilt of the sword. Sonwoo's word echoed, "Then Jinwei will charge at it." Jinwei shouted, "Here I go," while drawing her sword. She ran at the giant zombie and sliced its tendon, just like what Sonwoo told her. The giant zombie collapsed and screamed in pain. Jinwei looked at the zombie and reported, "Mission complete. Now the bastard can't move." Sonwoo command, and finally, "Shinbi, go for the head." Cherim was shocked at what she saw and shouted, "Holy crap." Shinbi, who's gripping a spear, was also stunned, "Huh. The giant zombie's arm is somehow absolutely fine." The zombie swings its fist at Shinbi. Shinbi was in danger. As the giant zombie's fist neared her, Shinbi shut her eyes in fear. But before she could get hurt, someone riding a motorcycle suddenly flew overhead the giant zombie's back. They then smashed their motorbike into the giant zombie's head. Seeing the action, Cherim, Jinwei, Sonwoo and Shinbi were stunned. Shinbi's tears fell, as she recognized who the rider was. The rider got off her motorcycle as it crashed into the giant zombie and killed it. She then looked at her motorbike's condition, then she said, "Damn, there goes my ride. It's Yuri, she's alive." Jinsen continued speaking, "But we can't get through. Right now, we can't even reach Charon. How on earth are we supposed to deal with something like that? From the start, this unit was a mess. What does it matter if there are a lot of us?
Since we can't fight, maybe she abandoned us."
Se-eun countered, "Then doesn't Seong going with them contradict your theory?" Jinsen argued back, "Seong was smart enough to volunteer." Jinsen realized, wouldn't it be better to sacrifice one person to the zombie? Tears fell from Jinsen's eyes as she forced a smile. "If we just stay quiet, no one will ever know. We can save ourselves." Jinsen tried to convince Se-eun, "If we just keep quiet, we can survive." Hearing Jinsen's words, Se-eun asked, "Jinsen, are you going insane?" Jinsen's voice rose as she replied to Se-eun, "Do you have a better idea? If you want to sacrifice yourselves, go ahead." Jinsen shouted, "I'm going to live. And get out of here." Then she tightly gripped the sharp weapon in her hand. Yeri stood up. She agreed to Jinsen's words, I also wanted to get out of here alive, too." Seonyung also agreed. Opening her locker, she said, "Me too." Se-eun's nervousness is evident on her face, as she hears their words. The zombie outside their classroom noticed that Seonyung, Jinsen and Yeri were wielding weapons in front of Se-eun. It asked them, "What the are you guys fighting?" Meanwhile, when Yuri went AWOL from their class, she ran into a horde of zombies. To distract them, she used her phone to make noise and threw it away. But it didn't work. The zombies kept coming in her direction. She clenched her fist. As she thought of what to do, she then dropped her bag and grabbed something from it. She then reached out for something in her pocket. As one of the zombies charged at her, she raised what she's holding. She flicked the lighter on, while spraying the bug spray at the zombie, setting it on fire. She then kicked the zombie down the stairs, to keep it away from her. When it fell, it burned the other zombies nearby too. Yuri muttered, "Good thing Seonyung had bug spray in her locker." To finish off the rest of the zombies on that floor, Yuri threw both the lighter and the bug spray at them, causing an explosion that burned them all. After confirming that they were all dead from the flames, she grabbed a fire extinguisher, putting out the fire before it spread. When she finished, she wiped the sweat from her forehead with her hand and said, "Phew. That should just about do it." After they defeated the large zombie, they went back into the school building. Shinbi cried while hugging Yuri. Yuri was flustered. She asked Shinbi, "Hey, cut it out, why are you crying?" Shinbi, still crying, replied, stuttering, "You told us not to go to the first floor. I thought you were dead." Yuri replied, "Oh, right. I told you that because I was going to set things on fire and didn't want you to get caught up in it." Right after that, Cherim smiled at Yuri and said, "Hey, it's all good. But what are you doing here? Didn't you go outside?" Hearing that, Yuri hesitated a little before replying to Cherim, "Well, it's better if you see it for yourselves." So they all went out to the schoolyard to see what she was talking about. Yuri called them over in front of the gate. "Hey, come here for a sec." Cherim and the others followed. "The front gate is open." Seeing this, Cherim commented, "I mean, if we can just leave. What are we doing here?" Seeing that nothing was obstructing the gate, Jinwei decided to get out of the school. She immediately ran ahead, trying to get out quickly. Cherim called after Jinwei to stop her, but she just kept running and even laughed, saying to her classmates, "See you later. I'll bring some help. Here we go." Activate ninja escape mode. But she suddenly slammed into something like a wall even though there was nothing visibly there. Seeing that, Cherim was shocked. What the? Yuri exclaimed. You saw that, right? We can't get out. Back at the shop, Sharon felt a vibration in her pocket. It was her phone ringing. She checked and saw that Shinbi was calling. Ah, finally I've got service. Then, she answered the phone. Yeah, I just read your messages. What? She pulled the phone away from her ear, wondering what Shinbi is saying, because of the unintelligible words coming from her. So she requested, Shinbi, I can't understand you. Give the phone to Cherim. Cherim took the phone from the crying Shinbi and spoke through the phone. This is Cherim. She then relayed what happened. Cherim was surprised and repeated what Cherim said. You met Yuri. She thought to herself, so she was alive after all. Cherim said, yeah, Rena's here, and we also found Minwoo at the shop, while looking at the two. Cherim didn't believe what Cherim said and scolded her over the phone, saying, what do you mean we can't get out? Have you gone crazy like Jinwei or something? Stop messing around and get to the shop. Ah, whatever, just come. When Cherim ended the call, she said while still holding the phone, messing around at a time like this. Geez. Jihyun overheard her and asked what Cherim had said. Cherim replied, I don't know, something about not being able to get outside because of a wall. Minwoo mentioned that he heard her say that Sonwoo was on the first floor. Cherim looked at Minwoo and said, you heard that? They're coming up. Your sister is okay.
Rena was surprised when she heard their conversation.
Sonwoo and Minwoo are siblings. Cherim and the others were surprised by Rena's reaction. You didn't know. But they look exactly alike. Cherim thought that once Cherim and the others got up to the shop, they would have to go to their classroom to get Hannah's group as well. Cherim wonders what they are doing. Well, I guess there's nothing to worry about. They can take care of themselves. Blood dripped onto the floor, as Jinsun and Yeri stabbed their weapon, and Seonyang tied someone with her yo-yo. Se-eun's face pales. Because, she opened their classroom door, so her classmates can easily attack the zombie. Seonyang wrapped her yo-yo on the zombie's neck, while Jinsun and Yeri impaled it. A phone is placed on the table, with a memo containing, pretend we're fighting. The weapons Seonyang made were a tied-up yo-yo with strings coated in glue and glass powder. The kitchen knife Cherim found plus tape plus broken mop handle. And lastly, one similar to the second, but with two broken mop handles. Jinsun then asked, so does that mean the zombie can use the face of the person it ate? So, does that mean zombies can use the faces of the ones they eat? Se-eun, startled by the idea, tried to stop her thoughts. Jinsun, don't jump to conclude, but Jinsun cut her off. But we can't get through. Right now, we can't even reach Cherim. Se-eun was surprised when Jinsun held out her phone to show her phone screen. Let's pretend we're fighting. Is what's written on her phone's memo. After showing it, Jinsun quickly hid her phone in her pocket so the zombie wouldn't see that their fight was planned. Then Jinsun continued speaking, making it seem like they were arguing. She said, how on earth are we supposed to deal with something like that? From the start, this unit was a mess. What does it matter if there are a lot of us? Then when the zombie least expected it, they launched their attack. Yeri stabbed the zombie from the window, and Jinsun stabbed it as well from the door that Se-eun had opened. Seonyang threw her yo-yo to wrap around the zombie's neck. This happened while Hannah is still unconscious. Blood flowed heavily from the zombie's mouth due to the stabs. Seonyang said, I wrapped my yo-yo around it. Try pulling. I put glass powder on the string. So they pulled the yo-yo harder. As the mutated zombie felt the string getting tighter, it begged them, no. Help. No. She turned to Se-eun, pleading, Se-eun. It's me. Cherim. Jinsun cut the zombie off. Good thing Se-eun isn't the one holding the yo-yo. And with one last strong pull, she ripped off the zombie's neck. The zombie's blood and head flew off with the force. Jinsun asked, "There's no way it could survive that, right?" When the bloody hand of the zombie twitched, Jinsun shouted, "Close the door." Se-eun quickly shut it, severing the zombie's fingers that got caught in the frame. After that, Jinsun complained, "How could that zombie even think we'd agree to give up one of us? There's no way we could do that." Se-eun felt relieved, now that the zombie was dead. She thought, when it asked for someone, I panicked. She recalled when Jinsun pretended she was willing to give someone up, but secretly showed her the plan through the phone, to fake a fight to buy some time. Jinsun spoke loudly to draw the attention to her, and gave us instructions without the zombie noticing. Meanwhile, the eye drops Seonyang gave us really worked. Se-eun grabbed Hannah's phone to check it and Jinsun asked, "Have you checked Hannah's phone? What did it say?" Se-eun answered, "They've already seen Rina. They also said they are on their way here." As they all turned their backs to the zombie's head, it began growing arms. The head then jumped at Yeri. But luckily she noticed it and punched the head away. The zombie's head smashed through the floor, its blood splattered, some landed on Hannah's cheek, who was still unconscious. Yeri Pyeon, an infighting boxer, then asks, "So Charon is on her way back?" She removed her gloves, then said, "Well, we can't just sit here waiting. Let's think about how we can help them." Her cheeks a bit red. Hearing that, Se-eun's eyes sparkled, while saying Yeri's name. Meanwhile, as Charon walked, she was thinking that she had read about how Yeri once knocked out a gangster's teeth. The others in the group were smart too, so she figured there wasn't much to worry about. Charon hoped, "It would be great if they just joined me and took my side." Suddenly, Rina spoke up and asked Charon, "Why do I have to go with you? What if my little pop rock starts crying because he misses me?" Charon replied, "Think of it as a way to score points with your future sister-in-law. Your reputation really took a hit when you ditched us yesterday." She raised her index finger, then continued, "But if you help them escape now, everyone will be shocked and amazed. They'll think you're tough on the outside, but soft on the inside." Hearing that, Rina imagined Minwoo looking at her while saying, "Oh, she's softer than I thought," and falls in love with her. Charon clasps Rina's hand and says, "I'm on your side, Rina. Okay." Rina smiled as she responded, "That's a tempting offer." Then she shouted, "It's a deal." Meanwhile, Shinbi's group headed to the shop. Charon told them, Charon said that they'll bring the others to the shop, so we should wait there, like she said. Jinwei said, "Damn them. They don't know the kind of information we've got." Charon added, "Even if we already recorded it, everyone will just think it's some sort of act Jinwei performed." Sonwoo showed Yuri the hairband while asking her, "Is this hairband yours?" When Yuri saw it, she said, "Huh. Maybe." Yuri thought back, wondering if she brought her hairband with her. Sonwoo told her, "We found it on a zombie." Yuri answered, "Then it must have burned up. I don't usually tie my hair back." Sonwoo replied, "That's true. You don't." Jinwei joined their conversation, "Maybe it's not hers. Didn't Shinbi sell a lot of bracelets like that at the school's flea market?" Shinbi confirmed, "Yes, I did. One of them said, I had one too. Maybe I left it in the classroom." Another said, "I think I stuffed mine in my locker." Shinbi sighed, "I'll pretend I didn't hear that." Then Jinwei said, "There's one person in our class who would always wear something like that." Yuri replied, "It has to be her, right?" Jinwei confirmed, "Yeah." Seeing the shop's door, Charon said, "Hey, we're at the shop." Geez, that was seriously rough. Jinwei said, "But we shouldn't come across any zombies like that again." As Jinwei said that, a zombie was unknowingly following them from behind. Charon agreed to Jinwei's words, "Right. I haven't seen any on the way here. Let's ask for food when we get inside." The zombie stretched out its arm that's holding a piece of concrete. Charon said, "I'm starving." Did you eat anything yesterday, Yuri? Then, the zombie hurls the concrete in their direction. Yuri replied to Cherim, I had a chocolate bar with me. As they talked, a sudden thud sound was heard. Shinbi felt something. So she looked down. There, she could see that there was a hole in her stomach. In it, blood trickled down, as a piece of concrete was peeking out. Huh. What? Blood came out of her mouth. The blood splattered against the wall. The mutated zombie's appendage swished. Cherim and the others saw the mutated zombie, as they helped Shinbi. Cherim shouted, Hurry! Get inside the shop.